Hello, welcome to Celeste. Where do I even start with this game? It's a platformer game made by Makes Games. Fun fact, I was not a fan of platformer games before I got to play Celeste. Despite that, I absolutely love this game. I mean, look at this little goober. Oh yeah, this video will also be a little different. Since I had pretty much no strong or interesting reactions while I was recording the video live. And that will most likely be true for other Celeste videos too. Still hope it will be enjoyable anyways. I guess I will be going chapter by chapter, talking about all the mechanics, characters and story the chapters got to offer. Don't worry, if you want to play the game for yourself, there will be timestamps whenever I start talking about spoilers. Here's the intro chapter! Not much to say about this chapter. It's a tutorial chapter, which teaches you the basic mechanics. It really takes about 5 minutes in total, including the dialogue. Speaking of mechanics, the intro chapter teaches you all your basic movements. Aside from your normal movement key, you will be using only 3 buttons. The jump button, the climb button, and at the end of the chapter you get out the dash button too. Yeah, that's all about the mechanics from the intro chapter. Well, I guess there was that one falling block, but spoilers? Maybe? Don't know if you would consider it spoilers, since this is literally the tutorial pretty much. But just in case, here's a spoiler warning and a timestamp to skip. Madeline. So, the very first character we meet is of course our playable character Madeline. At this point in the story, all we know about her is that she has decided to climb the mountain called Celeste. Why? We don't know as of yet. But we know that she drives a car at the very least. Next character... Wait, there's a bird. Not a character. Well, you know what? Whatever, I will count it. Next we meet this little birdie here. Don't know where it came across such wisdoms, but it always shows up to teach us a new trick. In this chapter it teaches us how to climb and dash. Granny. And finally, the last character we meet in the intro is the granny. She's... one of those grannies that seem to know everything, yet is really secretive about it for whatever reason, then lost at the confusion she causes. In short, she's quite a jolly old lady. Wait, what do you mean I might see things? Strange things! Yeah, what strange things? Things you may not be ready for! That's why I'm asking, so I can be well prepared for the journey ahead. Granny away! Oh, dang it. Welcome to the first actual chapter of Celeste. As you can see in the footage, this chapter has a theme of an abandoned city, which you need to traverse and eventually climb out of. There are now collectibles, which you can find and gather. Usually I am not really touching the collectibles in games, but Celeste is an exception, because they are just so fun to collect. For example, you see the strawberry? That's the main collectible you will encounter. So, what's so special about these collectibles, aside from them being shaped like a strawberry? I hear you asking. Well, each strawberry has some kind of challenge behind it. For example, you see this tiny hole in the room otherwise full of spikes? If you see a hole like that, jump into it. In most cases, it's hiding some kind of secret. In this case, a strawberry where you need to jump over moving platforms fast enough so they don't crash you on the ceiling, and then make your way back to collect your strawberry. Oh, right! Also, in order to collect your strawberry, you need to be in a safe location, touching the ground in most cases. Sometimes they make you do an entire challenge before letting you have it, but in most cases you just need to be in a safe location, standing on the ground. Speaking of strawberries, there are also strawberries with wings, which fly away if you dash in the room. So you need to complete the room without dashing in order to get this strawberry. Also, if you're wondering why these strawberries are grayed out, then it means that I have collected them in the past. Well, what I didn't mention is that I already played through the game before, so a lot of the strawberries in the first 3 chapters are already collected on my account. Aside from strawberries, there are 2 more collectibles you can get in each chapter. I will talk about them more once they show up. But for now, it's time for chapter 1 mechanics. So first things first, we come across some spikes and springs. Do I need to explain this? I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Well, springs do have one thing of note though. Whenever you bounce on a string, it refreshes your dash, no matter where it's placed. So that's gonna be abused by the game in the future. Next thing we come across are moving platforms. They are stationary until you step on them. Afterwards they lunge forward at a high speed until they come to a halt. Once this happens on the first block you ever stand on, you figure out there's another mechanic related to the motion. Once you jump off the platform, if you do so, as soon as it comes to a stop, the first thing you think to yourself is gonna be, "Whoa, why am I so fast? Holy!" That thought is gonna be promptly and quickly followed by, "Oh shit, those are spikes." Yeah, there is a momentum in this game. Whenever you step on something moving and try jumping off while it's moving or the moment it stops, Madeline will retain all the momentum from the trip and it launches her to the moon. That's all the mechanics of chapter 1 and time to go over the characters. Well, there's only one new character appearing in this chapter, and the way he is positioned, you may not even find him. If you explore all the side rooms before going the main path, then you may come across this room with this guy chilling by some fire. This guy is Theo. He's a chill dude, an Instapix influencer, totally not Instagram. Fun fact, if you look up Theo _stars on Instagram, the account is actually real. Not sure if it's actually run by Maddie, her friend, or if it's a fan-made account, but you can see a bunch of adorable art with Celeste's character, just doing everyday stuff, Madeline cooking, the granny just chilling in a gaming chair, etc. Make sure to give them a follow. Honestly, there is all 2 characters this chapter. There is not much story either. Once you reach the top of chapter 1, there's a monument dedicated to all who passed away on the climb, after which Madeline gets some fire going and falls asleep as the birdie from prologue flies in and rests on her head, leading to this adorable scene which is stuck in my mind permanently, not gonna lie. Chapter 2! This time we find ourselves in an old 1800s ruins, which got mentioned by Theo in the previous chapter. And this chapter is heavy on story. So heavy on story in fact, that even one of the mechanics you encounter in this chapter may be a spoiler. So yeah, I will leave that one for the last bit of this chapter. By the way, before we get to the mechanics of this chapter, I think it would be fun to take a look at a certain room found in this chapter. You see this room? Looks horrible, doesn't it? But in fact, it's actually really easy, barely an inconvenient. Look, mistakes happen to everyone. King Fire, okay, you know, the first mechanic is this black solid block. Well, that's just what it is right now. It will definitely not change later on or anything. I mean, why would it? Oh, It's turning now. These are called dream blocks, and what they allow you to do is, well, this. Yep, if you dash into the blocks, they will make you switch all the way across until you come out of the other side. And if there is a wall on the other side, well... The rest mechanic of chapter 2, we find out binoculars, whatever it's called, which you can sometimes find in random rooms, usually big rooms, and they let you look at the wall room from whatever those binoculars are. That's it. Yeah, that's just what I do. I don't know what you expected from this. And as of the last mechanic, okay, we are leaving the spoiler mechanic for the last bit. Instead, let's talk characters. There's a couple characters. Let's start with the non-spoiler ones, of course, which is Theo! Yeah, Theo himself is back. He can be found just chilling at the fireplace once again, above the main path. If you chose to, you could just ignore him and move forward, but he does snap a pic of himself and Madeline together, which is really sweet. That plays further to it because why not? For the next character... Wait. Is that the only character that is not a spoiler in this chapter? Jeez, okay, well, guess we are moving on to spoiler territory now. So... skip to this time if you want to avoid spoilers. The next character we meet is Hare. Yes, seemingly an evil counterpart to Madeline, who just randomly came out of a mirror. She doesn't really have a canonical name, at least I don't think she does. It was never mentioned in the game at the very least, but the fandom lovingly named her Madeline. Madeline here is a part of Madeline that has escaped from her body. As of what part?
Is a part of me? My pragmatic side, I guess.
The next time we see Madeline, after breaking out of her mirror, she urges Madeline to give up on climbing the mountain. Which when Madeline doesn't listen, she starts chasing us down. That is the last mechanic of the chapter, which I couldn't talk about before. Anyways, as you're being chased, there is a certain behavior you will quickly notice. Madeline doesn't just chase you. She completely repeats everything you do, one for one. So if you want to mess around, you can make her dance if you wanted to. This chase goes on for a good chunk of the chapter, and some people may find it annoying. I don't know, but I think it was really fun, having to dance around Madeline, nearly getting caught a couple of times, and sometimes doing stupid stuff out of sheer panic. It gets the adrenaline going. After escaping the chase, you stumble across a ringing telephone booth. When you pick up the phone, the next character appears. We never got the name of this character either, nor do we officially know who they are. But the most prominent theory is that they are Madeline's ex. Anyways, from this person we find out that Madeline has been struggling with panic attacks. A really bad case of them as well, seemingly. After telling us of this information, Madeline realizes that she's been dreaming this whole chapter, wondering why she even bothers climbing the mountain. As Madeline shows up, agreeing with her, and then this happens. Finally, the last character we meet in this chapter is all the way at the end, where Madeline goes to the same phone booth she saw in her dream and calls her mom. She confirms even further that Madeline has trouble with panic attacks, and thus ends the chapter with another pretty artwork. It's not over for chapter 2 yet though, because we still got one more collectible to talk about that I show off in this chapter specifically. This is a crystal heart, Every single chapter has one of those hidden somewhere on the map. Those hearts are always either really well hidden or they have some complicated puzzle leading to them, which is unlike the rest of the game. I won't talk about them all, because it's fun trying to figure out yourself, even though some hearts will definitely make you Google how to get them. But that's for another video. Anyways, when you're awake, you can find this tiny box somewhere on the roof of the castle, and a book on a table near it. The book tells you about how to get to the heart. It tells you that it's a fortress when awake, meaning this box, but in dreams it's vulnerable. The book also mentions the line, lurking out of frame. It's a pretty difficult hint to crack, but here's what you do. So first you need to be in the dream world. That part is pretty clear, and the whole out of frame thing means this. Yup, whenever you dash through the screens, your dash gets replenished, and then you can jump through the screen again. And again, and just keep on doing this until you manage to get to the top and claim your prize. Oh, right. Also, before we move on to chapter 3, there's a new type of strawberry collectible. This time around, it's just seeds. You got 3 strawberry seeds scattered across the room, and you need to gather all of them without touching the floor. If you do so, the seeds combine into a full-on strawberry that you can claim. And that's all for chapter 2. Next we move to... Welcome to the Celeste Resort. This chapter takes place in a hotel that was built on Celeste. It's called Celeste Resort. This chapter is known for having bigger rooms than other chapters, in some cases at least. Also, the difficulty kinda starts going up from here, which is mainly the fault of these two. Well, more on that later. Or you know what, actually now. So first, let's talk about this guy. You can see them literally everywhere in this chapter. They can stay still, they can move, or they can spin. A lot of people don't like them because they force you to slow down, wait for an opportunity to go, and even then, there is no telling if you got the timing right until you get past the ballroom. Next, let's talk about these tentacle-like things. What they do is simple, you can step on them no problem, but once you step off them, yeah, you need to be careful when you move, otherwise you may screw yourself over with your own hands. Or I guess feet in this case. Some moving platforms are back, but they work differently in this chapter. Instead of them flinging you in the direction, these platforms just slowly sink down when you stand on them. You can also find the combination of those platforms and the blob guys we seen before to create some really annoying rooms to deal with. Oh right, also there are keys now, which unlock doors. Whoa, technology. Real mind-blowing stuff there, I know. Oh, also there is one more mechanic, but like in chapter 2, it's kinda a spoiler and stuff, so yeah, I will leave that for later. Anyways, characters time. First character we meet this chapter is Mr. Oshiro, owner of the resort, who is definitely not a ghost. I mean, just look at how very human his introduction was. Totally alive human right there. Anyways, how to best describe Mr. Oshiro? Quirky, I guess? Well, not really. But either way, in this chapter you are being accompanied by this possibly a ghost most of the way. as he's showing you around his hotel, trying to convince you to stay in for the night. Along the way, you get to see Oshiro's desperation, anxiety, and love for his hotel, as he keeps trying to convince you of the hotel's qualities. Also, I swear this guy took some kind of drama classes when he was a kid or something. Like, look at this. Anyways, the next character we meet is Theo, again! And fun fact, if you were to ignore every side path and never talk to Theo ever before, this will be your first time meeting him. This chapter, Theo spends his time trying to get out of the hotel, since he feels like there is something wrong with Oshiro, calling him weirdo and urges you to leave as soon as you possibly can as well. However, Madeline feels bad for Oshiro, and so she wants to help him and declines Theo's suggestion. Collectibles. There's like one specific strawberry I want to talk about. You see the strawberry here? It's such a difficult strawberry to get. Do you remember how at the start of the video, I talked about those strawberries that require you to complete some kind of challenge or something before you can claim them? This is one of those, and the challenge is that after you grab the strawberry, you have to go through this whole part again without dying, and only then you can take it. So in order to get this strawberry, you have to first go underneath here, jump on the way so you can leave yourself some safe spots. Then those ledges here, you need to touch only the very edge of them, dash through this top part to grab the strawberry itself, make sure you safely fall on the ground which you haven't touched yet, then jump through the patches of the free ground you left to yourself. Try your best to jump over the edge of the ledges, which are deadly now, while also not jumping too far into the goop behind, and finally dash to this side of the room. Hope you make a safe landing and then claim the strawberry. I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't do it on video because it was just that painful to do. Anyways, now to something new. Welcome to the cassette room. Every chapter has one of those rooms where you need to reach the end to claim this cassette. Every cassette room has many of these pink and blue blocks which turn on or off depending on the rhythm, I think? I don't know. I'm just guessing here. Either way, once you collect this cassette, you unlock an entirely new part of the game called a B-side. What is a B-side? I hear you ask. Let's talk about that in a different video, shall we? Now we are moving onto the spoiler territory, so cover your ears, spoiler-free fledglings. So, as it turns out, all of this goop all over the hotel is all coming out of Mr. Oshiro himself. His anxiety and self-doubt seep out of his body and cover the whole building. Holy crap, that's a lot of them. Anyways, there's another character that shows up in this chapter, but well, spoilers and stuff, and that character is Madeline. She comes back, riles up Oshiro by revealing Madeline's real feelings about him, which she kept to herself, and just generally pisses Oshiro off, which leads to the final mechanic of the chapter. Oshiro, now enraged, follows you at the edge of the screen, occasionally charging at you as you try to run away. There's not too much to be said about this chase, it just happens for a while. Some bits are really cool while others are painful. But hey, it's kinda funny that you can stomp on top of Oshia's head when he's charging at you and effectively bonk him away. I think that may be all for the chapter, but before I end it off, I'm gonna talk about this part of the chapter. In this room, you are tasked with cleaning up the mess inside of the hotel, which you do by locating and hitting 3 switches like this. Well, the thing is, with each switch you hit, the music gains another instrument playing in the background, which is supposed to be showing Oshia's anxiety slowly raising throughout this whole part of the chapter, as one of his esteemed guests is cleaning up a mess after him. Well, that is all for chapter 3, and I will end the video here because it's pretty long now, I think. I don't know, I am reading off a script right now. It seems very long, but I hope you all enjoyed it, and in the next one we will take a look at the B-sides. I mentioned those earlier, not sure what I will talk about, but I'm sure you will love seeing me suffer. For the time being though, hope you enjoyed, and bye bye next time.